Hey everyone! So in this video, I'm going to go over what I'm expecting for Project 2. Let's get to it. Alright, so before we jump into exactly what I need from you for Project 2, I do want to go over a few things. So I included this link to this awesome blog post, 19 common graphic design mistakes made by non-designers. Now I know you guys are on your design journey and learning to become designers, but this blog post does a really great job of really outlining and giving some good examples of some common mistakes that are done by newbies. That you guys are probably. So look over this, or maybe if you get stuck, or if you're looking at your design and you're like, man, it's just not working, come back to this blog post, look over it, and it could really be helpful. Okay, so something that's really important, and this is going to be for all of your projects. For all of your projects, you must have the usage rights to use any asset. Now, that sounds really scary. So let me break it down, okay? And it's in red, and it's supposed to look scary because I'm very serious about this. I am not just a designer, but I'm a photographer, and having your work stolen, whether on purpose or not on purpose, just kind of sucks. So this is really important to me. So anyways, first of all, let's talk about assets. Assets is referring to photos, graphics, fonts, music, basically any bit of a design or video that you're using to put together, that would be considered an asset. So what do I mean by usage rights? Well, basically it has to do with copyright law, and we're going to really get into copyright law later on in the semester. I didn't want to hit you guys with things too heavy of stuff quite yet, but there are some important things for you guys to be aware of. So first off, your best bet for not getting into legal trouble in this class or in your career is to use your own assets whenever possible. That means take your own photos, make your own designs, okay? When you take a photograph, when you take the hit the shutter, hit the yes, I'm taking this photo button, you automatically own the copyright to that photo. So, use your own photos, make your own designs. Now, with that being said, if you do use a stock asset from Canva, CC Express, Spark, Rush, anything that's included already in the software program, images, music, whatever, you're fine, okay? They provide those free stock assets as part of the program. They have paid for the licensing, basically, and now you get to use those for free. Okay, so that's fine. Now, there are some sites out there that explicitly say that yes, you can use those images or assets for personal or educational purposes. Unsplash.com is a really big one right now, where there's a lot of free images, and it's right there at the very front of their website that these are all free to use. Okay, that's fine. You can use those. Now, some of you are creating for businesses that are happening right now. So if that's the case, you want to make sure that you're either using your own photos, photos provided to you from the business, and so we're expecting that they do have the licensing for it, or you need to be paying for photos. Anytime that you are creating something that's going to be used to make money for someone, it's called commercial. It doesn't have to specifically be for a commercial. It could be an ad on a website, a post on social media. Anything that's meant to try to generate money for a business is basically commercial usage. So you do need to make sure that you don't want to get your, if it's your business or your employer or whatever, you don't want to get them in trouble. So make sure that you're using the assets that are either included in the programs or ones that you have created or, your employer has created. That's how to stay out of that legal trouble. You cannot use downloaded images from the internet unless you can show it is legal to use those. Okay. So just FYI, at any point I may ask you where you got your images from. And I'm not trying to accuse you. This is a class. I am trying to teach you when something is legal to use and when it's not. Okay? So if you have some really awesome photos, I might reach out to you and be like, hey, where did you get these? What website did you get these from? Or, if you took it, can you send me the original photo so I can see the metadata? Stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, you can't just go to Google and type in, whatever you want and use whatever photo comes up, especially if there's like watermarks and stuff on it. That's a no-go. Later on in the semester, I'm going to show you how to do that, how to search Google for images that can be used legally, but we're not there yet. Okay, so anyways, now that I got over that, let's look at the actual project. So what you need to do, you're going to be creating 3 images for Facebook. You're going to be creating a profile image, a cover photo, and an event cover photo. Okay, so let's delve into this a little deeper. So all of these images should represent your brand. You should be thinking about how it's coming off, what you could say, what is the communication, what is the vibe, what is the mood. If you're trying to make something super professional and it looks silly, then that's not going to be good for the brand. Okay, so going back, you got to go back to that page you wrote for project 1, look over those things and think about what parts of a design you can do, change up to affect the communication of your brand. What is your brand about? You can use CC Express, you can use Canva, or if you're really comfortable in Photoshop or Illustrator or another design type of software, you can use that too. I'm fine with that. I would encourage you to at least use CC Express or Canva at least once this semester if you like doing other ones, just to see how it is. I'm a diehard Photoshop girl. I love, love, love Photoshop, but there are times when I do use the apps instead, the CC Express and such. So now I do want to also say that if you already have a social media presence, do not recycle your old stuff. I go and look at your guys' social media. I search you guys. I look you up and I look to see if you're recycling your images, if you're recycling posts. Don't do that. What's the point of taking this class? The point of taking this class is to learn and apply that to what you're doing to get better. If you think you already know everything you need to know about social media imaging, I don't know why you're taking this class. But if that's the case, then yeah, why aren't you blown up being an influencer, making a bunch of money? Maybe there is something that's kind of lacking. Just saying. Not trying to be mean or anything, but just saying. Okay, so let's talk about some specifics. So for the profile image, this image represents the face of your brand, okay? So now specifics, the file must be cropped square. Now, even though you're cropping it square, you do need to realize that the image will be cropped to a circle when uploaded to a social media site. And that's why I included this right here. So you could see that, don't have anything that's important on the edges because it will be cropped out. But for this assignment, just turn it in as a square. It's almost always best to use a photo that is close, that's head and shoulders. Okay, so at least this close, so you should have some shoulders and your head. And it clearly shows your face. Now, there could be made an argument for some people, some brands that you don't show your face. For example, Banksy, he's a famous artist who, she, not really sure, but they are a famous artist that part of their whole brand is being anonymous. Okay, same with there's a gamer named Corpse Husband. Same thing. Part of his brand is being anonymous. No one knows what he looks like. Okay, so you can make a case for that. But overall, for the most part, 99.9% of the time, the best photo for a profile image is going to be something that your face is clearly seen in. Now, but just to say real quick, for business pages, a well-designed logo can be effective as well. Okay, so you're working for Nike, for Pepsi, for, Vallarta, something like that. If they have a really strong logo, that can be something good too. Now, we do need to remember that this image will be seen very small on a screen. So you want to avoid any kind of complicated photos, a lot going on, or any kind of text that's really small or like a really thin typeface, thin font. It's not going to be very readable. If worse comes to worse, get it up, put it on your phone, and then make it small and see See if you can see it still. If you can see it still, then it may work. That's what I do when I grade. I will take the image and make it really small and see what it looks like. Okay. Let's see. All right. I think I pretty much hit all those points. Okay, so now let's talk about the cover photo. Your cover photo can be a photo, it could be a design, it could be a logo, it could be a combination, but it must represent your brand. So if using CC Express / Canva, search for Facebook cover, so you're using the correct size. And if you're using another design app, search online for the right size, for the right pixels. Okay, it does change all of the time, probably about once a year it changes. So this is just something good to remember and to check if you're going to be creating your own templates and such. Now let's go back and look at my example. Now, this example is specifically from my personal Facebook page. Okay, so my personal brand is, I'm a teacher. I'm trying to, be fun yet creative. Okay, so this is kind of what I was trying to go with this. This is just something I made for fun, so it made sense that it will come off as fun. Now, if I was actually making this, let's say I had created a business page on Facebook, and it was, let's say instead of teaching at Fresno City College, I was doing workshops, I would probably go with something a little bit more different. I would try to probably still keep it vibrant with my colors, but I would make the imagery a little bit more serious. I'm thinking maybe like, I teach photography and graphic design and Photoshop and artsy type things. So maybe having some images that represent those different aspects, and then having like a color wash over the whole thing. But yeah, if this was a business profile page, I would go with something a little more businessy, a little bit more professional and serious. But like I said, this is for my personal page, and the people who I connect with on my personal page, some of them are friends, a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are people in the community, and so this just gives off that vibe that, hey, I'm fun, I'm silly, I like to be creative. So yeah, so that's important to think about too. What exactly, where would this be, and where is this coming off? You'll see later on in the semester my LinkedIn page looks completely different. Yeah. So anyways, because my LinkedIn page is specifically geared towards professional networking. So back to this. So the event cover photo, make up an event that your brand would put on and make it make sense. Okay. What is your brand? What kind of event would they do? And make a graphic for it. Now it must have text. It must have the event name, the brand name and or logo, the date, the time, and location. If there's any other extra things that might be extra information, I would be careful with the graphic, because remember, a lot of people are going to be seeing this on a phone, on a smaller screen. When you create an event on Facebook, there's a whole area underneath the image where you actually get to put in like the link to the tickets and any kind of specific rules, health regulation, COVID regulations, I don't know, whatever that would go into it, a longer description, all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to put a ton of text in there. You don't want to have large blocks of text where people are reading novels or anything like that. You want to just keep it to the basics. Like I said, event name, brand name / logo, date, time, location. And this is so that, and like this is what I do all the time, is I see an event, maybe I'd have a friend who's not on Facebook and I want to send it to, so I save that photo and send the photo over. If you were not having that information on there, if you were relying specifically on the text part of the event to give all that information, then you could be missing some really easy sharing and marketing. Okay, so you do want to have at least some of the information on there. Now, if you're using CC Express, Canva, search for Facebook event. Again, so you're using the right size. If you're using another design software, search Facebook event size on the internets, so you can get the right size. When you're all done, you should be turning in 3 files. It'll look something like this. So one square profile image, and you can see from the crop it actually helped me because there was this like piece of concrete back here. So the circle crop that out. Yes. You'll be turning in your Facebook cover photo or cover image, and then your event image. All right, guys. So I hope all that makes sense. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me via email or come to my office hour. But yeah, can't wait to see what you make.